$22.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC. And as always, joined on the ones and twos with Harrison on Marathon Sunday. I almost said Saturday, but that was the kids run. It'd be kids run Saturday, Marathon Saturday. And so how are you doing this morning, Harrison?
I'm good. I made it to work on time. If anybody in their cars listening to us right now, they know exactly what I'm talking about. As the line on O Street, we are now fully wrapped around the corner here, good ways. And I was looking through it, but no, I made it to work on time this morning. I've learned. You
took heads up from the warning last week when you said, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out. That's why you got to listen to Bigger Than the Score. People tuned into Bigger Than the Score last week. Probably might not be in the traffic.
Yeah,
right
I mean, come on, Jay, where were you at? I mean, come on now. We're on at 11 o'clock. It's the best radio going. Also, don't want to be remiss if you're looking online on the stream. We've got a familiar face. We've got Phil Maynard, the pride and joy of the Hartley Hornets.
Oh, yeah.
And the Fighting Maynards, if you have recalled from a couple prior shows. So, Phil, welcome in as well.
Always good to be here. I'm Bigger Than the Score with you and Harrison. So glad to be here. Navigated through traffic a little bit this morning and made it down bumper to bumper. It was pretty packed, but we got here.
Well, you got a scooter in, so I saw when you go ahead, he had to go ahead and plug that in. So I would say the scooters, despite some of the things that have been going on as of late, would be a good mode of transportation. But for good luck to the runners and everybody. I know kind of the tail end of the marathon people are kind of coming through during this kind of half marathon, that last half hour. Some people have made that turn. And so kind of going out to Holmes Lake around and then kind of on the boulevard. And so, again, have done that in the past. And again, just want to thank marathon people. I want to thank just the people who've worked it, organizers, so many people that are involved. Again, if you get a chance, come on down to the mill. If you need to rehydrate, definitely got some caffeine and got some good electrolytes, so to speak. We'll say here, Luke will go ahead and hook you up, or any of the locations. I know Tamara and the rest of the crew would really appreciate that. So Well, like I said, got the marathon. Want to give a quick shout out when we said it's kind of that running weekend, so to speak. And Phil might be able to talk a little bit about this at Harrison as well. We had the Mayor's Youth Run yesterday. And so I think over 2,000 scholars, from my understanding, and it was the highest one since COVID, since the return of COVID. And so I want to give a shout out to all involved in that. The young ones running. It's always kind of cool to see the photos and the pictures of kids, and I'm thinking like they're world record breakers. I think like little Usain Bolts are out there like posting their time. This kid got 5:35, 6:10. I'm like, dude, and they're 6 years old, but I don't know if they're just running for their life or running for the goodie bag at the end. But Malachi Hopkins and their agency, everyone gets a chance, was selected as the agency. And so one of the cool parts, and I know with the ticket, is just, the supporting of just the goodwill of the nonprofits out there. So the Mayor's Run chooses a nonprofit each and every year. And so everyone gets a chance. And so Malachi Hopkins and them, I know, received $1 for every runner, and they reported out it was over $2,000. And so that's just a really cool thing for him. A young cat, sophomore, junior in University of Nebraska with that program. So wanted to give a shout out. But Phil, what was your experience? I know you've had a couple times with, Parker and the Mayor's Run. What is that like? Or are you that type of person that says, I'm going ahead and getting mine. I'm winning the race and I'm beating my kid?
When we were younger, we did it a little bit, but I haven't done it so much when we're older, but I still love the opportunity that these kids had. We had a couple kids on my soccer team who actually ran it before the game yesterday, and they came and they had their medals on. They had their white T-shirts on. It's always kind of a tradition that you see the year of the marathon where these kids are pretty proud. This is quite a big deal for them to run. And you see some parents who kind of chugging along with them. And I would have struggled with that a little bit, I think, more recently than in the past.
Well, I think Harrison, it's that nightmare. I know you're not in the parents mode quite yet, but I think sometimes I think about that. There's these annual things here, the pumpkin runs and those type of things. What was your earliest, I guess, running experience? Did you have the color run or any of those type of things? Or
yeah, man, the earliest run, we had some stuff. Well, I think we called them fun runs too, right? I don't think it was too much
anything
different.
Fun about running?
No, that's how they get you.
Misnomer. The fun. Hey, let's sign up for the fun run. Oh, we get a T-shirt. Then you're like, dude, there's nothing fun about this.
First, real runs.
Two words shouldn't rhyme.
No, first real run, after, because I didn't do the fun run. I didn't fall for it the first time. But somehow, when I got into track, they sold me that it actually was, fun in high school. And then doing those first practices, just hitting those mile runs. Because, we did some junior high stuff where you run a mile, wasn't too bad. You get to high school, and now they're really wanting to push you on some miles. And that's when I was like, okay, this is becoming awful anymore. I could do a mile, 2 miles, but it does get to a point where it's just you start to feel the shins, the kidney starts to hurt a little bit.
He said the kidney. I was like, what are they doing? Punching you in the gut on the way or what?
You never get that side ache? I don't know what you call it.
It was like, okay, I got to go ahead and get a kidney replacement when I'm done at like 12 years old.
But yeah, shout out to anybody who was out there today, because like I said,
now you've ran a marathon a few times, haven't you, Pete?
I did. I've done 4 marathons. And then I want to say a little under probably 15 to 20 halves. And so I was kind of thinking about those, what are my top 3 memorable running moments as I watch people come in. And I got a couple Twitter pictures. I'll put them up. But one is the Lincoln Mile, and I'm running, and this young girl's like just giving me the stink eye as I'm running. And mind you, I've been this tall. I mean, I was, my body fat percentage was a little less, but she's just giving me this stink. I'm gonna pull it up, and I'm gonna.
Because you looked old, or what was going on there?
Dude, I don't it was. She was like.
You think it was like a bench warmer situation? Is what I got in my head. If you're sitting there,
it was something like she was
is this man okay? Kind of look.
No, I had that once. I mean, I remember the funniest thing. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna let you look at it here on the computer, and you got to tell me what that.
Oh yeah, I think she's like, well, what are you doing here?
I don't know. Now there's myself and my former friend named Todd, my friend named Todd Fitzgerald's on the other side, and I don't know. There's another thought that I'm having through my mind, which this is bigger than Score, a children's program, so I'll go ahead and I'll hold off. My mom told me about days like this. Watch out. So I'm gonna keep it clean because this is gonna go south real quick. But I do, my marathon memories. One, I remember Todd Fitz. He was running, a college teammate and everything. And he had decided to do it. It was the thing that kind of honestly inspired me to go ahead. I'm like, man, if Todd's going to do it, I got to be able to do it. And his first marathon, he's running and he's coming in. And I remember I'm sitting with his mom and, you know, you get the 4-hour mark, the 5-hour mark, and it was like the 6-hour. I think I ran the half. And we're sitting there and his mom's there and she's looking at me and she's like, they're not going to leave him out there, are they? And like literally she looks at me and I'm still cramping up from the half. And I'm like, no, they're not going to leave him out there. Like
6 hours is where you guys were at?
It was 6. Yeah.
Oof.
Like, I think it was like, because literally at that point, I remember they told him he had to get on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and I remember he was
I
like,
know,
they're telling me to
Riley,
get on the
man.
sidewalk. And he's like, I can't get on the sidewalk because I'm going to cramp up. But when she literally asked me that, like, they're not going to leave him out there, I'm like, dude, what kind of like this is serious right now. So, you know, that was one of them. I think I was running. I remember they would be like, oh, like people like, hey, that's a Husker. Like they thought I was like 6'3", like I was this black dude running. And I was like, hey, they were like thinking like I'm Jay Foreman or something like that. I don't know, like what we don't all look alike, but that's a whole nother story. But and then all of a sudden I'd hear somebody go, no, that's just Pete. Like,
no, never mind.
Yeah,
Keep going. You're fine.
Yeah, it was like, no, it's just Pete. Good job, Pete. I'm like, no, dude. I was like, let me have, like, I don't know on that. I think the last, like, I have multiple ones, but these are like the other. I'll go right down the list. Like, I remember I'm running. There's this little kid, and I just, like, I'd have headphones, but I could feel this, like, somebody behind me. Like, and they would just, and so I'd like slide over, trying to let them through. And I'd go, and they was just like, you just see the shadow.
Oh, he's drafting on you.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what he did. So I'm here at like the last mile or so, and he's like, hey, man. And I, you know, my headphones are down long enough just in case I, you know, need to hear an ambulance that's coming for me or whatever. And he goes, man, thanks for letting me draft off you. I'm like, dude, like that's allowed. Like that was not what I was trying. I was spending more time trying to change lanes so I could just get rid of this little kid like running behind me. And my last one was like my rule, my ultimate rule. Any running picture you have of me, I think my last that was like 2018, 2016 or so, is like I'm never walking. Like when I realized they took pictures on the race course, like I was racing, the participation course for me, there's like, I would see these photographers and no matter what, I remember I would just like what? And then
just make it at least look like I'm running, you know?
Yeah, you can just hold a pose if you need to. You don't even have to.
Just freeze.
Yeah, I have none of me walking. There's like the thumbs up and everything. As soon as I get by the dude, and then I realized how far that lens would go. Because you start watching, it's like, okay, they can get me from like a half a block away. That's how he's taking the pictures. And so I'm like, thumbs up, like everything's going well. I get by that dude. I was like, this sucks, dude. Like, just make it. So, you know, those are Pete Ferguson's there. That's my Saturday Night Live. Pete Ferguson's
That's a trouble pass. That's a lot more than that.
There's some trauma. There's some trauma that's going on with that, but never felt the running high. But with that, a lot of things going on in the area. Before we get to our guest, I know they're streaming in, so they didn't have to navigate the beautiful Lincoln Marathon traffic. But want to thank Jarrell Roach and family for last week. Harrison, you and I are in the studio, have gotten a number of just emails and comments. And I truly want to say I'm appreciative of him and his family for being in studio, sharing their story from his son, Jeremiah, to just all of them, man. It just so many nuggets that hit home in a lot of ways. And it was just something, some shows hit a little bit differently. And that one definitely did.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I got a standing ovation after the show. So it's like, I'm not going to, it was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of shows, but I think Unicorn Sparkle might be one of my favorite names I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, that family is just really great. And it's not, I can't remember. How many times have you had him on now?
Jarrell's been on a couple times. Yeah.
Okay, a couple times. Like, just one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. You know, he's definitely one of those guys. You know, you get some people who are. He's a hugger. I'll say that much. Like, he's just a really, really great guy and genuine. That's the best things I can say about him.
No, without question. And Phil, you've kind of co-hosted with him before, made fun of me during that time. But
I don't know what you're talking. He does a good Pete Ferguson impression. I'm not going to say that he doesn't. But yeah, it was just great to see Jarrell and his family and just how proud he was of his kids and just the way that they are spreading that awareness. And his daughter, I think it was Kari, is that?
Yep.
She was amazing. I loved hearing her story about high school and the way that she goes out and makes friends and the way that she is part of that group. I was really impressed with the whole Roach family. That was really fun to hear them. kind of share their story.
Simplified things. I mean, when you talk about kindness, if you get a chance, like all the shows can be heard on replay, you know, whether it's YouTube or just go to 93.7 The Ticket. But really simplify things, and it's not that complicated in life just to be kind. And if you, like I said, it's great anytime. Again, we've got a Tracks Leadership Elementary Summit. Mayor, we're taking 8. We're going to have about 40, and you're welcome, Harrison, if you want, 4th to 5th grade scholars on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm excited. It's my first one, so
yeah.
I'm kind of pumped for this. This is going to be great.
They're going to lighten it up. But I got to give a shout out to the Hartley scholars that were in Annie. I have some personal connections to a couple of them, but they did a phenomenal performance over there. We had the 4th annual YPAR under the leadership of Dr. Amanda Morales, school districts from KSU, partners from Fremont, LPS, South Sioux City, and Omaha were involved. And so, again, great. And then next week, I'm excited about this. We've got Mother's Day, and I'm taking it kind of off the model of our Father's Day show that we had last June, where we're going to have mothers kind of at different levels and different stages. And so we had kind of the OG Bill Bryan in last year, Sam Stecker, and then we also had a younger father in as well. And so looking forward to just that. So join us next week for that special Mother's Day piece. But Phil, any quick announcements you want to make before we kind of roll and bring in our guests?
A lot of things going on. Soccer's going well. Hartley has our big playground party this coming Friday, so I'm excited to kind of celebrate the conclusion of a fantastic school year there. And really looking forward to this track summit on Tuesday to come down with those Hartley scholars and collaborate with Norwood Park and Belmont as well. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for everybody. So I'm really excited about this upcoming week.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And we'll get more updates on the Finding Maynards as we move forward. But we have got to
We got a great victory yesterday. It was a fun one.
No, you're excited about the NFL too, but we'll leave that
NFL and my
to
Chicago Cubs. And I know
as we
Pete's
can
gonna be
outnumber
real,
Pete
but we all know what today's date is, right? Are we going to talk about this at all?
No, we're not going to. We're not going to.
It's a certain day. I'm not going to bring it up.
Hey, we already talked about, like I said, with that. But with that said, we're going to bring in our 2 guests, and we again, I'm thankful for them streaming, so they did not have to navigate the Lincoln traffic. But we have got Michael and Joshua, 2 scholars from Omaha, and they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves. But how gentlemen, how are you all doing this evening, or this morning? How are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. So they got the giggles on. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to pose our first question. Are either of you runners?
No.
I used to be. I used to run a little bit. I did some track. I did cross country in middle school, but in high school, I wasn't too good at it, but I enjoyed it. So
okay. So tell me. So Joshua, is there a thing called, like, have you ever experienced the runner's high?
A little bit. Again, I mean, it was a long time ago. Not a big runner now, but I did really enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay. We'll put that out there. Well, hey, we want to get into it. So I'm going to start with you, Joshua. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Just kind of your journey. Have you always lived in Nebraska? Just give us a little bit about insight on who you are.
Yeah. So I've always lived in Omaha. I was born in Omaha. And I go to OPS, just kind of my school journey. I went to Columbian Elementary, and then I went to Beveridge Middle School. And then I went to Burke High School for a year, and then I transferred to Central High School for the International Baccalaureate program. So that's kind of a big part of like my high school right now, or just like my high school life. I really enjoyed the program. It's super cool. I don't know, it's kind of all my classes are under this program. And it's just like a big part of kind of my life right now. And it's a really cool program.
Fantastic. And share a little bit, just kind of, you said you went to those 3 high schools. Tell us a little bit about the community of the school, any of those schools, but just maybe Omaha Public Schools in general.
Yeah, I love Omaha Public Schools. It's really amazing. It's very unique in first of all, how large it is. There's so many different high schools and different schools, and they all have their unique environments. But it's just so diverse, and you meet all different kinds of people, especially at my high school right now. You just get to interact with everyone you can imagine. It's amazing.
Love that. Love that. And Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've known you for a couple of years, but you are now a product of the Omaha Northwest High School. But tell us a little bit about your journey. Has it always been in Nebraska, in the Omaha area? Give us some insight on you.
So, yeah, I've always lived in Omaha, Nebraska. I currently am enrolled at Omaha North High School, not Northwest, just to clarify.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
You're all good. You're all good. Yeah, I mean, I love OPS. My family raised me with the mindset that empathy and respect are very important, and I guess that's kind of stuck with me and led me to how I move through the world.
Fantastic. And I liked how you share that. You shared your purpose, and you've been around me a little bit. That's one of the kind of the, I don't want to say non-negotiable, but one of those staples of individuals that I'm with. Tell me where that, you talked about your parents raised you with those components. How has that been showcased kind of from them to you? And then how have you done that with the involvements that you're a part of now?
Mm-hmm. So I think like empathy and respect has always been a thing in my family, and like we've always wanted to make sure that we're trying to be caring for one another. And I think as I've gone through like middle school and high school, that's where I've gotten more involved in advocacy and diversity, equity, and inclusion advocacy and educational advocacy. And I think it's really important that while going through those types of advocacy work, you have a lot of empathy and integrity while you're doing that work. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Joshua, what about you before we go to a break? What is your purpose right now as you navigate and go through life?
Yeah. I won't say I know my full purpose yet or anything like that. But I really just care about like making a difference for others. And whether that's through me like doing advocacy and stuff like that, and also just kind of me interacting with people, like in the casual sense. But I really do like think that I really like to impact others and just like try to make a difference in my world. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. I don't necessarily know what necessarily I want to change in my world yet, but I definitely know that I just want to make an impact like in the daily lives of others right now.
Fantastic. Love that. Hey, we're going to go to a quick break. And then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about, how you're doing that at your respective schools, Omaha North, also and Omaha Central, but also throughout the greater, I don't want to just say Omaha community, but just through our interactions through districts across this state and even some of your other involvements. And so we'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch, families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here, beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, Husker Nation. This is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top-quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on this station.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and always joined on the ones and twos with Harrison doing his thing. And got an in-studio co-host today. We got Phil Maynard, who has navigated the marathon traffic. Also, his wife is out, I think, working it today too, as well, isn't she?
She did a little bit of work this morning, but I think she's done now. I think she's supposed to be done now. We'll see how that's going though.
She's out there looking for those last.
You never know. She might be in there running for all I know. She might have been lying to me.
Got inspired, but also want to thank Magic for dropping in as always supportive of the show. But we have two guests in. They zoomed in. They're from Omaha, and I'm glad to have these scholars on board. We've got Michael, and we've also got Joshua. And Michael, I had to check the promo, but we had Michael from Omaha North, and so a Fighting Viking, and then we've got Joshua, home of Omaha Central and the home of the Amon Green, who is also one of the ticket, I don't say what it was, on-air personalities. I don't want to say on-air person, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, a great Husker, pro, yeah. He was good there too.
Esports all the way around.
Super Bowl champ.
Joshua, are you familiar with Amon Green? Did you know he was an Omaha Central product?
I've heard a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I heard too much, yeah.
I didn't want to put you on the spot there. So, hey, you all started talking about some of your involvements and different things that you're engaged in. Michael, I want to start with you. What are some things you're involved in, not only at your school, but also just within the Omaha community?
So I'm involved specifically at my school, I'm on the principal advisory board. I'm on some freshman academy boards, trying to engage with freshmen and make sure that they're getting the high school experience that will make them successful. And then I also am a senior class officer. I also did student government up until like halfway through my senior year, where it was like, let me lock in on finals. And then I'm also on the superintendent advisory council for OPS. So I meet with the superintendent once every few months with a group of peers, and we do some advocacy work.
Fantastic. I want to get into that here in a little bit more, kind of some things that you're doing as well. Joshua, same with you. What are some of the things that you're involved with, not only just Omaha Central, but also the greater community?
Yeah, I know this is a sports podcast. I'm not super athletic. I used to play some sports and I played around with it. And I just found that's not totally my thing. I've gotten into, I really love theater. So I do a lot of theater at my school and also in my larger, like Omaha community at some different theaters. So that's really fun. And I'm also involved in just a lot of like different leadership groups around my school and around my community. So I'm on student council. I'm on the superintendent advisory board, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And I'm also super involved in my like religious community. I'm Jewish. So I am on a few different like Jewish youth groups, and I attend different events and just stuff like that. I'm the president of my youth group right now. So that's super fun. So yeah, just kind of involved in my community in a few different ways.
Love the theater component. I'm going to have Phil ask a question here, but tell me like your latest production. What's been one of your latest productions that you've been involved in, and then what role did you have?
Yeah. So my school did Beauty and the Beast a few months ago. And it was a very busy time for me. I wasn't super involved in like the whole production, but I had a small role and it was still super fun. And I just love like the community, and it's much more than just like putting on the play or putting on the musical or whatever. It's, you get to know these people super well and become like almost a family. It's super amazing.
All right, Josh, this is Phil. I have a question. I work at Hartley,
Yeah.
and our students, 5th grade, they just did the musical Annie, and definitely got some future thespians in there. Thinking of past musicals you've done, you just brought up Beauty and the Beast, but other musicals that you might have been in, had the chance to participate in?
Yeah, I've been doing it forever. I've been a ton. Let me try
You
to
have some
think.
other favorites?
I really enjoyed. It was kind of a weird one, but I really enjoyed. They did, like the movie Big, with like
Tom Hanks
Yeah,
classic,
yeah. There's like a musical, and it's not like a good musical, but it was really fun to be in, and I really enjoyed it.
I love it. I love it.
That was one of my favorites, I would say. I'm trying to think.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you all have both served on the superintendent's advisory committee, and you're currently doing that. My connection with both of you came somewhat through that and your involvement in the Greater Than One district that we've hosted at Lincoln Public Schools. And what the whole premise and purpose was is to bring scholars together, to have an opportunity to network, to see what things are similar, what things are different within that district, but also create community. People ask, like, what's the purpose of opportunities like this? And I don't want to say there's no hidden agenda. It's the biggest thing is to create community as a whole. And so I want can you both maybe talk about your experience in that, and then just what pieces of advice did you get? But as you left, what pieces of advice would you give to greater communities that may have not been in that room? So Michael, maybe start with you. Like, what was your, initial experience like when you came into that a year ago? And then I think I've gotten to interact with you all in a separate occasion, and then coming back this year.
Yeah, so the summit has always been fun. Last year was wonderful. This year was great. I think one really good piece of advice that you always pushed out was be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that's something I definitely took home, and I'm definitely using to this day.
No, I appreciate that. And like I said, you've definitely been an advocate and a voice and a leader putting forward. Joshua, talk a little bit about your experience coming into that space.
Yeah, I hadn't really interacted with a lot of other school districts before, so this was my first year going. Definitely not my last, but it was super cool, and there was some like different breakout sessions that were really interesting that I really enjoyed. But I just think what I took away from it mostly was just how all of the school districts, like, we're all facing the same issues, like in the current, in the current years, and we're all just like we all basically have the same goals, and I think that's really important because we're all trying to do the same thing and accomplish very similar things. I think that's important to think about.
But before we get into kind of your superintendent advisory committee activity funding study, I'm interested. You've got an audience here, and I know you said before it's a sportscast. I think one great thing about the station is it hits all various types of communities, whether it's be scholar athletes, whether it be thespians, whether it be musicians across the board. What is a piece of advice? Because you're in you're involved in the educational system right now. What is the piece of advice, Joshua, that you would have for educators? If they were all sitting around in this table right now and they were listening, what is one piece of advice that you would have for educators across the state? Joshua, that's for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think one thing that I just think in general, I feel like is an issue in my school district, is that I think a lot of teachers believe that all students, they need to learn the same way, and that there's like one way or the highway, I think. And I think one piece of advice that I would have is just that everyone has a different way of learning, and even if they might not show it, I think a lot of people really want to be in that classroom and really want to learn, even if that's not kind of the vibe the teacher's getting. But I think it's just important to think about all students and that they all might be very different from each other.
Fantastic. Michael, I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. A piece of advice that you would have for educators if you were doing the professional development, professional investment, and they were all, in Pinnacle Bank, or they were all at the community CHI Center in Omaha. What is a piece of advice that you would have for educators at this very moment?
I think the biggest piece of advice I have for educators right now is believe in your students before they know how to believe in themselves. It's so important. Not every student has that supportive system or like a supportive family who believes in them. And so that's what educators are here for. We care.
I think, that's not negotiable, so I really appreciate you saying that. So I want you to share a little bit about your experience on the Superintendent's Advisory Committee in Omaha, what that's been like for you. And then you all speak to the activity funding study that you all have, put together and you are executing right now. And so, Michael, I'm going to let you take the lead on that. Tell us a little bit about what your Superintendent Advisory Committee looks like. You say every couple months you meet with the superintendent, you engage. What are some of the objectives and focuses that you've had? And then, Joshua, tell me a little bit about this study.
Yeah. So, on the Superintendent Advisory Council, we meet with our peers, like a group that applied to be on the board and for the most part got accepted. And we chat about the problems we're seeing in our schools, whether that is like engagement issues in classrooms or whether that's like maintenance issues sometimes. And we chat about it and we try to come to a conclusion, and we bring it up to the superintendent whenever we meet with him. Sometimes we also, rather than meeting with him, we'll just send him an email and be like, here's what we saw, or here's what we talked about. And we've really been focusing in on funding for clubs and activities this year. And I kind of want to pass this off to Josh to talk about a little bit more.
Fantastic. Yeah. And before, I don't want to be remiss, it's under the leadership, I believe, of Dr. Green. Dr. Monica Green from Omaha Public Schools. And so I know she submitted your names and is listening. And so I wanted to give her her flowers in respect to her leadership in regards to this. And so, Joshua, why don't you tell us a little bit about this funding study that you put together? What were some of the objectives and how did it come about?
Yeah, so this year we really wanted to kind of hone in on like one specific issue that we thought, like a bigger issue that we found, and really focusing on it. So this year what we decided is we wanted to look into how different activities in athletics are being funded, just extracurriculars in general. And we felt like there was some really big disparities between schools and also just between different activities. So we started our study and we went to students across the district and got thousands of responses on whether they were having to pay money to be involved in activities or fundraise a lot of money. And from there, we kind of determined certain activities that we saw that were having issues either just across the board, or like one school was funding these clubs super well and other schools weren't. And from there, we reached out to principals and we reached out to assistant principals and just asked for more specific information. And then we brought that to our superintendent and said, here's some issues we noticed and we would like to fix those, basically.
So having those meetings with the superintendents, has that led to some new some opportunities, some new discoveries, some new thinking?
Can I take this, Michael?
Yeah. So I think we've definitely in past years, I've been on the superintendent advisory board for 3 years now. We've really been focused on this funding thing, and so Matt Ray has came and talked with us a few times, and it's mostly just digging for more data, so that way we have a really strong backing to bring to the Board of Education as well as the superintendent. But in past years, go ahead.
You're putting in that work, though. I think you're nurturing that process, and that says a ton about where you guys are moving forward with this. I think that's really kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So, we're going to break here. I'm just interested real quickly from both of you. What is something that you have noted in this survey that you can't, that needs to be actually essential, in the provision or in the providing of, extracurricular activities? What is something that is just one of those non-negotiables? Hey, if young people are going to participate, what is one of those things that you found through that study and those responses that has to happen for young people to be engaged? And Michael, I'll start with you, and then Joshua, you can close it up before we go to break.
Can you rephrase the question a little bit?
Yeah. Just what is one of the findings that you found in the study?
One of the findings that we found in the study was it is so different based on what school you go to as to how your clubs are funded and how much students have to pay out of pocket and how much the school is giving from their pot of gold, if that makes sense, for funding. So how much they sprinkle on each club.
Thank you. Joshua, what was one finding that you found interesting before we hit break?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'll elaborate a tiny bit. So one example that we noticed, we're looking at some, not even every school has it in our district, but some schools have show choir. And one really big issue is there was a few schools that show choir was very important and they were being funded. It was being funded super well. And because of that, there was a ton of students involved. And they were able to have costumes paid for and transportation to events and other stuff paid for. Then we had other schools where their show choirs were extremely small because they didn't have the funding and they were in an area with students that could not afford to pay for all these things dealing with show choir. And that's just one really big issue, that some schools can provide this for students and other schools just cannot because of these differences in funding. And that's one thing we really wanted to eliminate.
No, thanks for sharing that. We'll be right back after this short break on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
Summertime is here. It's time to get to Brown's Shoe Fit for their May sandal sale. From now through May 31st, get $15 off all regular price sandals. Whether it's for hiking, or the lake, or just everyday sandals, Brown's has you covered. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your summer off right with the May sandal sale at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch. families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here, beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Are you a fan of local wine, craft beer, cider, or spirits? Don't miss SIP Nebraska's 12th anniversary celebration, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park, and join others who share your passion for great drinks. Enjoy unlimited tastings, live music, delicious food, artisans, and lawn games as you celebrate Nebraska's vibrant beverage industry. And when you find one you love, you can buy a bottle to take home. Choose your ticket package at sipnebraska.com. The SIP Nebraska Spring Festival, a Blur event, May 9th and 10th at Mahoney State Park in Ashland.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in at Bigger Than the Score. You can't see my face, but Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Says I got Pete and Phil next to me, as well as a couple of great scholars streaming in. Just a quick announcement before I throw things over to the host. We do got the Royals baseball taking over the airwaves here in just about a couple of minutes. So if you want to catch the last bit of the show, be sure to switch over to the Ticket app or the streams, or you can always go back to YouTube and rewatch anything that you might have missed. All right, Pete, floor's yours.
No problem. Thanks. Appreciate that. So we've got our scholars in from Omaha. We've got Michael and Joshua. Really appreciative of them streaming in, and they were sharing some insight about their study and the things that they have done in those non-negotiables and essentials. Kind of before we end the show, Joshua, I'm interested in you of just what are some things that you're getting into right now as you kind of finish up the year? Just what does that look like for you?
Right now, as I'm finishing up the year, I'm just trying to. It's kind of one thing I'm doing, and it's not like a new activity or anything, but I'm trying to just become more organized. I think I've been kind of like a mess, and I procrastinated a lot, kind of in high school. And before my senior year, I think there's going to be a lot going on with like applying for colleges and doing a lot of stuff. And I just really want to like get everything together and just try to be more organized. So
what's the one point of emphasis? You said you're trying to get more organized. What's the one point of emphasis that you're focusing on, and then that we can focus on as well?
I think really right now it's just my procrastination. I think it hasn't hurt me yet, which is almost a bad thing because I need something to go wrong for me to really like know I need to change. But I always just wait till last minute to do things, and I need to just not do that anymore because it's getting out of hand, I think.
I like the fact you say, well, it's not a DEFCON 5 yet, but we're not pushing a red button, but we're on the yellow, maybe the yellow and green make blue. So we'll see what happens. Michael, what about you? As you proceed forward, what does your future look like for you as you get ready to, I know you had prom and some other things and walk across that stage?
Yeah, I'm preparing to go to the University of Omaha, the University of Nebraska at Omaha, majoring in education. And I'm just trying to like lock in on making sure I have everything like put in place for college next year. So
love that. So going in education, elementary, secondary, what does that look like? Which area?
I'm thinking secondary.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted the little ones quite yet. So with that, so we, DP has founded the station, and we've always asked you to finish this prompt, love is. And so I'm going to ask Michael, I want to start with you. Love is staying when it's easier to leave.
Showing up with your whole self, staying when it's easier to leave, in the sense that, if you're really passionate about something and you really care, it might be easier to walk away, but you still stick around because you're so passionate and you care so much about that thing.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Love is staying when it's easier to leave. I appreciate that. Joshua, what about you? Finish that statement. Love is.
Yeah. I think love is just always truly wanting and working for the best for someone else. I think true love is just like really truly the best for someone else, and not necessarily what you want to be the best for them. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah,
I think just really hoping for the best for someone else.
All right. So as we go out, Michael, I've known you the longest. You got about 15 seconds. You're going to give us a love huddle. Just get the community, the state inspired. Give us some closing words.
Okay. All right, everyone. This is our moment. We're not here by accident. We're not backing down now. Every voice matters. Every effort counts. Lead with empathy. Act with integrity. And don't wait for someone else to start the change.
Love that. Hey, Michael, Joshua, I truly appreciate that. Couldn't have ended any better. Best to you as you move on, Michael, as you get ready to graduate. Joshua, as you do that non-procrastination moving forward. We'll see you next week on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging.